do you gut someone?
You take a knife and you slit him from groin to sternum.
Hey, it's called tact, you fuck rag. Horror films love using high schools as their breeding grounds for evil. But why is that? Maybe because high school represents the developmental years, and preying on these vulnerable young men and women makes sense.
If you kindly take your seats, this will be over quite quickly. Now sit down!
High school is supposed to be a safe space of learning, but in horror films, this space is perverted, violated, and extorted.
Hello? Hello?
Sex, drugs, and staying out late. For many, high school is the first opportunity to come face to face with these real-world monsters. It's this naive and susceptibility to harsh learning experiences that makes them the perfect target for what goes bump in the night.
Come to Freddy.
For today's list, I want to go over the top 10 high school horror moments. Number 10, The Faculty.
This is for the best, Zeke.
A forgotten gem of the late 90s by director Robert Rodriguez, The Faculty tells the story of insectoid aliens taking over a high school, one teacher at a time. In this scene, real-life alien Jon Stewart battles Josh Hartnett. If some high school teachers weren't terrifying enough, The Faculty puts into question a teacher's true intentions. Also, Salma Hayek. Number 9, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Another gem from the 90s, I Know What You Did Last Summer is the ultimate teenage oopsie daisy when a group of high schoolers accidentally run over a lonely fisherman one fateful night. This scene shows Helen, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, try her best to stop the fisherman from killing Barry during a pageant competition. If nothing else, this scene makes the list because it's memed counterpart in the original Scary Movie.
Must be an original beat.
Number 8, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Not always what is real. According to Shakespeare, there was something operating in nature.
Never before has dozing off in class been so deadly. In the first installment of Wes Craven's classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy's friend Tina comes back from the dead in a body bag to warn her. Watching a fellow classmate give a cryptic message from beyond the grave can be spooky enough. This leads Nancy to descend into the school's boiler room and her first face-to-face encounter with the Nightmare King himself.
Who are you?
Hello?
Hello,
Yes?
who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
Number 7, Scream. Wes Craven once again takes a spot on this list with his self-aware slasher Scream. There were countless moments to choose from this genre-defining film, but Scream deserves this recognition for its super meta moment. In the moments leading up to Henry Winkler's death on school grounds, the audience is treated to a cameo from the man himself, director Wes Craven, dressed in none other than Freddy Krueger's ugly Christmas sweater.
Damn little shits.
What'd you call me?
Not your friend.
Number 6,
バトルロワイヤルそこで今日は皆さんにちょっと殺し合いをしてもらいます
Okay, this may not technically count as a high school, but in this Kinji cult classic, school-aged children are pitted against one another in a battle of life and death. In this early scene, the rules of the game are gruesomely and unapologetically demonstrated to a renowned crowd.
よし殺していたれ
Violence and gore, it's everything you want in a child-to-child murder spree. Number 5, Final Destination 5. The Final Destination series has built itself a reputation of intricate and creative kills, and it's no different in its 5th installment. Candace prepares her showcase as we nervously await the inevitable. Each nut and bolt that goes into her death intelligently gets its own screen time. These shots amp up the tension and the suspense in the scene. In the end, each part plays its role and the result is a pool of mangled body parts. Number 4. Carrie. Taking anti-bullying to the next level, Carrie is the quintessential high school revenge story. Her abilities are only hinted throughout the film, but goes full Jean Grey on her high school class and takes no prisoners in the process. She carries out a revenge fantasy many only dream of unleashing. In the end, nothing but a crisp is left in her wake. Number 3. Halloween. The original 1978 Halloween set the precedent for a distracted protagonist looking outside a window onto a monster. In this scene, the camera ominously zooms onto a distracted Laurie Strode as she only catches a glimpse of her eternal stalker, Michael Myers. Throw in a disappearance act by Myers, and you get a scene that would set the tone for the rest of the franchise. Number 2. It Follows.
Come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all. 1 7 that is not what I need to know.
In another artfully crafted classroom scene, It Follows Annie is distracted by a woman outside her window. The camera pans to Annie and the culprit to her distraction. The music amps up as the older woman only slowly creeps to Annie. No immediate danger is present, but the out-of-place woman in a nightgown tells her otherwise.
Clytemnestra is driven by revenge, just like the rest of
Number 1. Hereditary. Sound design, acting, and haunting images all craft this gruesome possession scene in Hereditary.
It's like the family's guilt, what's going on between the family, all that tumultuous, all those relationships and the friction, it kind of manifests itself in this crazy horror. It makes it a terror and makes it, it's film terrorism, as someone called it.
Overcome with grief, Peter is tortured in this scene with familiar clicking sounds. In the middle of class, in broad daylight, something possesses Peter into a fit of self-harm that ends with a smashing blow. So what do you think? What high school horror moment would you put on the list? If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.